It's now about 12, and the last thing that I want to do is prepare a little speech, which I am a little bit nervous about, but I also will regret if I don't give it. And then it's just waiting for people to arrive, and it's done. Done. I also ordered some blue paint for this frame, but they just called and said they had to cancel the order because they don't have that color anymore. Apparently it was some special edition or something. I don't know that they did that with paint, but apparently they do. But one of my friends just painted his house in the exact color. En die, belangrijk, dat wil ik misschien als laatste nog doen. the second layer on these, and I think they are looking good. So in a minute I'm gonna put it together. And then I also painted this one. Of course it's sticking. And this one needs a second coat, and then it is done, and it's looking pretty good. Yes, I thought it would look way nicer with the blue one, because I made a mistake. I just forgot that I wanted it blue, and I think I was just doing several things at the same time, and you shouldn't do several things at the same time. I always get reminded of that. They're almost done. I am almost done. I just need to attach a wire to the back, but I don't have the material yet, so I'm gonna do that after the weekend. And then they are ready to hang. I'm really happy that I decided that this one should be blue, this frame. It's not the most expensive frame, so it's not completely perfect, which bothers me. But also, you deal with the stuff that you have to deal with. If someone wants a professional blue frame, we'll get it for them, but not for this price. I'm really happy that this one looks good with the oil as well. I think it finishes the whole painting, and I think it will look really great downstairs. And I am actually wondering how much of the space it's going to take up. I might have to change some things in the layout because it is really wide. It's 180, so we'll see how that looks, but we'll find out. I am currently in the week of my new exhibition opening. I'm presenting 2 large works and 7 works on paper. And I have to say that I am quite stressed. The exhibition is at my studio building, but then it's downstairs because my studio is in this big office building with like 100 different offices. And they have a different exhibition every 3 months. And I've done this once before, and it was during COVID and there was no opening or whatever. And this time I thought, you know, let's just do an opening. And then I took off a bit more than I can chew, and now it's become this big thing with a poster, and I applied for a grant and I'm waiting on them to reply. I should be hearing that this week to hear if I got funding for it. And then I put so much time and so much money into it. So now I kind of need it to be a success, and it's stressing me out. I'm laughing, but I am crying on the inside. At this point, I know I really want to enjoy, because it's on Thursday, it's now Monday. I really need to enjoy this time. I really want to enjoy it, but I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. And I even feel like I invited too many people, and now there's too many people coming, which makes no sense, because the whole point of the exhibition is not even to sell the work. I mean, it would be nice, but it's not even the point of the exhibition. It's mostly for visibility, and if you want visibility, you need people to come. So my brain at this time does not make any sense. I am really happy if this is done to take a break and to just take time off for a week on the business side of things and just paint, maybe just work on new stuff, because I haven't had the time to do that for the past 2 weeks or so, and it's just been everything at the same time. There are a few things that I need to do today. In the afternoon, there are 80 students coming by from a nearby college. And me and my studio mate are gonna tell them a little bit about our work and what we do. And there's one framed print that I need to frame, and I need to package it and send it out. And then there's another big print that I'm framing with my exhibition that I also need to frame. I already have the frame, I just need to make sure that it's framed nice. Then I'm going downstairs, hanging all the stickers, because I printed stickers this weekend with like the names and QR codes to a PDF where you can see all the pieces that are hanging there, a little text, and oh my god, it takes so much time to write texts. I always forget, and I'm always unsure of if it's right. The works are already hanging downstairs. I didn't film it because I was very stressed, so I didn't film, and I don't really film when I'm stressed, so you're gonna have to trust me on that. Basically for today, I do have to still film a Patreon lesson. I might do that in the afternoon, but I just haven't found the time, honestly. I do really want to get it out there though, so I hope I will be able to do that in the afternoon after the students leave. I got the funding. It's such a nice confirmation and good feeling, and even though the letter read as if I didn't get it, I did get it, and now I don't have to eat raw bread, droog brood, the rest of the month, which is really nice, and it's just, I'm happy. It's now about 12, and the last thing that I want to do is prepare a little speech, which I am a little bit nervous about, but I also will regret if I don't give it. And then it's just waiting for people to arrive, and it's done. In this next part, there are a few things missing because I forgot to film. It was becoming a little bit stressful, and every time that it becomes a little bit stressful, I forget to film. So I'm just filling in the gaps here. Last week was my exhibition opening, and it was on Thursday, and the exhibition is called Soft Words I Tell Myself, and I had to tell some soft words to myself during the planning of that exhibition. I completely underestimated the time it would take, the mental energy it would take by organizing this, and I made it really big because that is what I do. In the end, it all turned out really nice, and it was better than expected. The night went better than expected. It was busier than I expected. And I even sold 2 works, which I did not expect. Everything fell into place, but this was a learning experience for when I do this again. Don't underestimate organizing an event. Period. So let's talk a little bit about the exhibition itself. I had 2 large works on display, and those were 2 large oil paintings that I've been working on the past few months, and I guess those were mostly where the name came from. One of them was Daydream for a Couple of Hours, from the song. And then I had Even When No One Is Looking. And I also made a Gisley print of that, so that one was also framed. But so there were these 2 big paintings, and then there were 7 works on paper. The reason that I called it Soft Words is because I was playing with this idea of making self-portraits that are really big, and so big that people have to see you. And then at some point this thought walked in, or this thought like creeped in, thinking that maybe it wasn't even for other people to see the portraits or to see me, basically, but maybe it was also just for me to see me. The story that I shared with my my audience on social media and in my newsletter was that the soft words I tell myself are paintings that I made because I'm really harsh on myself as a, I wanted to say as a creator, but as an artist and as a person. And that in these paintings I find rest, and that I find confidence, and that it is okay to tell yourself soft words every once in a while. And I think that is very relatable to a lot of people and a lot of artists and a lot of women, maybe specifically. But as I progressed towards the exhibition, I noticed that it was also about being seen and having this harsh critique from whether it's the art world, where there's a lot of rejection, or whether that is from maybe people with regular jobs. I don't face a lot of critique from people with regular jobs, but I do find it as like not a personal critique, but I do find it something that I see as a society, I guess, because art is a very unstable, could be a very unstable career path, especially if you are starting out. I think I am still a beginner artist, emerging maybe, and it is, I think, unstable in the beginning, and that is something that I think a lot of people wouldn't choose. So I guess all those doubts and all those insecurities and all those rejections, they just filled up these self-portraits and made them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And like at some point I thought, this is just, I want to make them so big that you cannot not look at them. And they kind of became this work of, look at me, I am here, give me a chance, which sounds very dramatic, but I did realize that it kind of became this image, and I wanted to announce that during the exhibition opening as well. And so for the exhibit, I made a catalog, a printed one that I could share at the opening, but also a digital one. And the whole exhibit had these stickers with the name, the materials, the size, and then a QR code to go to that catalog. So at the opening, people could scan it if they wanted to see it digitally, and if they wanted to take it home. If they walked past and they wanted to see the entire exhibit, they could also see it, and they wouldn't have to do too much effort to find out where you could buy that original. Before the exhibit, I made sure to invite everyone personally. People that I had their number of, I invited personally, and other people I've invited by email. It was a mix of friends and people that I knew and other artists, but it was also some professional relations, and sending a personal message just works way better than a general invitation to anyone. And that way I could also see a list of RSVPs and kind of know how much people would attend. I also sent some emails to local newspapers, and some of them have gotten back to me after the exhibit, because obviously it takes a little bit of time extra because they get loads of emails, and it's honestly the first time that I did that, but I will definitely keep doing that, because I think those newspapers have a completely different target audience than I do, and that's an easy way to have people know about your exhibition. So one final thing that I did for the exhibit as a layout was write a text next to the exhibit that you could read, like a little text about me, a little text about the exhibit, and then also some information about where you could find the catalog, where you could find my newsletter, my website, and a photo that instantly makes it recognizable for people. And the nice thing is with those texts is that once you write them once, you can reuse them for everything. You can reuse them for Instagram captions, you can use them on your website, you can use them on your web shop, in your newsletters. For these videos, I kind of know what I'm talking about because I've rewritten it a lot of times already. So I don't really like writing texts because it's about work that I have often said needs some time to process, but it does work. And once you kind of set on a tone, on a general theme that it's about, it does really work to talk about your work, because obviously people are going to ask, what is it about? Why did you make this painting? And then you kind of have this explanation to go. So after the exhibition, you are not done yet, because that's when the promotion starts. And I had a lot of work going towards that exhibition. And then once the opening was done, I was like, oh, yes. And I had prepared some things online for social media, but I wasn't fully prepared. So I gave myself some time to process what had happened, to process the happiness and celebrate the wins, because 2 originals were sold during that exhibition, which was amazing. But I knew I wanted to get those originals online in the next month as well. It happened to be around the time that I had to renew my web shop. So I completely renewed it, which is not necessarily what you have to do. Maybe you have something in place already, but I did it. So I could look at all the different elements that I wanted to be on there, and I released a Gislet print first to my newsletter subscribers as kind of a promo, and then the originals and the prints will be online later. And that will be publicly as well. I am a fan of doing releases in different sections. So with my newsletters, those people are already interested in my work, and I can kind of test what works. in case something is broken, like a link, you'd rather send it out to a few hundred people than to a few thousand people. And I found out that that really works for me, to do it in little parts so that it doesn't have too much stress on one thing. This exhibition wasn't necessarily made with the thought of I am going to sell all my original work. It was mostly a visibility thing. I wanted my work to get out there, be seen by either those other artist friends, but also online, and also professional relations that were there. And selling originals is very unpredictable. So I didn't know if I would sell anything, so if I would make any of that money back. So I funded it a different way. I mean, some works did get sold, which was amazing, but I didn't know that before. So the way that I funded it was, first I was paid a small fee by the exhibition place, which happened to be my studio space. They have a budget for exhibitions. So that was a small fee, and they sponsored the opening drinks as well, which is great because in an entire office building, that budget is really small, but if one person, me, has to pay for opening drinks for like 40, 50 people, that is quite a lot. So I'm really grateful that they did that, and I knew that before accepting the exhibition. Then I also applied for a grant to frame everything, because that exceeded already the budget that I got from the building, and that way I knew I didn't have to just put up some canvases and get the cheapest frames available. But I didn't know I would get that one, because you have to apply, and then there is like I think a 9-week time period to wait. I kind of gambled on that one, and I knew I wanted to make a nice presentation, so I just gambled on myself and see if I would get it anyway. And luckily I did, because that was a bigger amount of money to fund the rest. It did not fund the time for me to make these paintings, but it did give me back some time for preparation of the exhibition itself. Because I did get the government grant though, I had to link some things to the exhibition to get it. So I was teaching workshops called Painting Your Imaginary Friend, which is really fun, but I could link that to my exhibition. And then there was a school coming by with students, and that was also during the exhibition time. Plus, I'm also doing an open studio on June 13th. If you want to come by, you're super welcome. It's more of a behind the scenes, and the exhibition will still be there because that will be until the end of June. So all those events together, they linked, they were the reason that I got the grant, not just for the exhibition itself. And that is all I wanted to say. I hope you enjoyed this series of how I organize my own art exhibition. And if you have any questions in organizing your own, leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Obviously, I don't know everything, but maybe I can help you with something. And I'll see you in the next one.